Perfect. All right, man. How's everybody doing? Dave, what's going on? How are you? Yana, what's up? How are you? So, as you can see, there's two of us here. But we're going to get into that and why he's here. I'm still trying to figure out actually why he's here. But, yeah, I did kind of invite you, but they didn't have to know that. But I'm glad to see everybody's here. Thank you so much, as always, spending your time here with me. Talk about all the time, man. You spend time on what you love, and you love what you spend your time on. You guys obviously love me, but you probably love yourself a little bit more, trying to learn this wholesaling game and real estate game. And appreciate that, Miss Anderson. And we just wanna grow as a group, right? We wanna learn how to do this thing so we can pass this stuff on to everyone else. Eric, how you doing? Trey, what's good? So we want to just make sure that we obviously understand these things. And I think some of the best ways to do that is to learn through other people, right? Learn through their success, learn through their failures. It's always good. I really appreciate it when someone else fails and they are nice enough to let me know how to not fail, right? Because then it's a choice. Then I can choose not to fall in that same trap, right? But if we never hear about it, then, we don't know. So I'm going to mute everybody, not because I don't want to hear you. Well, it is because I don't want to hear you, but I do love you. I just don't want to hear you chatter. And we want to be respectful for everybody else. So, man, I had a pretty busy week. It's crazy. I was able to go, I left on Thursday about 6 was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday at 6 a.m. And teammate of mine, Kiana, I don't see her on here right now. Kat was good. You ain't been on here for a minute. I don't see Kiana on here right now, but she did a phenomenal job, and she was able to get a house under contract that we never even saw. We've never seen the house before. And man, it was kind of like our first virtual, but me still being a control freak, I still wanted to go see it. So since I was driving to North Carolina and it was in Greenville, it was kind of on the way, I stopped off. Technikia, what's up? We kind of stopped off and took a quick look at it. We got it under contract for $28,000, and I went and took some photos of it. One thing. If you guys ever, this is safety, so this is kind of serious, right? So you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, you see I do probably some unsafe things, going to houses with guns and crap, right? And so, but if you ever get like that little hair standing up the back of your neck, if you ever just get that feeling like, hey, this doesn't feel right, just back out, right? I learned that in the police department. I probably should have listened a couple more times. This time I kind of got a feeling. I went into that house, and it was normally I don't care what it looks like in any hood. I'll go into a house, but I just got this bad feeling about this particular house. Yep. My realtor carries a sidearm. Yep, and yeah, we got him here too. So, but I got the bad feeling. You can't always just shoot your way through everything, right? Sometimes it's just better to be wise and back out of back out of the situation. But I was really proud that Kiana was able to do that. We got this house under contract. At first glance, I was thinking that maybe it wasn't. We got it up a little bit too high, but we're gonna have to work some things out with the city. But it might turn out to be a good deal. And then I took the road up, and I stopped in Winston-Salem and saw Max. And man, talking about learning from other people's mistakes, right? And this is nothing new. If you guys know anything of Max, he's very giving. He's very open and honest about stuff. So me telling you about some of the things that I can share with you is not me talking behind his back or doing anything like that. It's just for the benefit of the group, so we can all learn, right? That VR game was sick, Darius. We'll talk about that later. My knuckles are still hurt from punching that wall. Stop sending me messages. Y'all throwing me off. Y'all gonna have me going on the wrong direction. But he got into I went to a closing with him that he did a subject to on. He did a subject to hold. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, subject to is basically where you get the property deeded over to you, but the mortgage stays with the other person. So if Sean has a property that he's paying a mortgage on, he's living in, he deeds the title to me. So now I own the house, but he still owns the mortgage. It's somewhat a little bit more of an advanced technique. But he did this over a year ago. He just now sold that property and carried back a note on that property, right? So I think he carried back a note. I think the guy had to put a down payment of like $10,000 or $12,000, and I forgot what he's paying monthly. But he's basically going to cash flow only about $150 on this property. But the property's being paid by someone else. He's made himself whole since then, but he carried it way too long, right? So one of my points is that you can learn from a lot of people, right? You can learn from people like Max, who are, light years ahead of where I'm at. But he still makes mistakes. And one of the mistakes is that he got into too many projects, too many properties at one time. So this property, believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy, and probably you were like, I'd love to have this problem. But believe it or not, he had too many properties and he lost track of this one. So he lost track of this particular house. The mortgage was being paid coming out of his account, his business account, automatically. So he really wasn't, he knew he had it, but he kind of lost track of time. And he had it for over a year. So he'd been paying a mortgage on it for a year. It's been done. It's been ready. They just hadn't pushed it. They finally got it sold when I was up there. And so maybe you don't have multiple properties, but maybe you have multiple ideas, business ideas, plans, ventures that you're into, where you're losing track of the things that are important when it comes to your wholesale business, right? There's nothing wrong with reaching out to people and asking people for help, right? It's one of the biggest signs of strength, right? Some people look at it as a sign of weakness. One of the biggest signs of strength, if you're humble enough to say, hey, I need help with things. If you're overreaching yourself, if you're out kind of overstepping what you can personally do, take a quick look at that. See if you're getting lost. See if the main thing is no longer the main thing anymore. Kind of readjust some things. So that was one of the things I learned from him. The other thing that I learned from him, every time I go up there, I learned something about wholesaling. I try to take something away from the wholesaling side of things. And I just try to take some basic business principles. And every time I go up there, man, I'm like amazed. I'm amazed at how effortless he makes money, or how it really it does. I mean, like some of the things that he does and that he's in, that I can't really divulge on all the things, but some of the things that he does and he's in, he makes so much money so easily with it, right? Because of this, right? Not because of his hands and how hard he's working, right? But because of how he sets himself up into different positions and his mindset on making money, right? And so one of the things that me and Sean have, I've known this guy, well, he's known me since I was born. And so, call this guy my brother. We're like best of friends, right? And so Sean can attest, like I started this entrepreneur thing a little bit earlier than you did. And so, I started this thing a little bit early. So I kind of got my mind, I kind of had like a little head start when it comes to mindset on how to make money. Now, I don't have the flashiest lifestyle. I don't make the most money in the world. But if there's anything that I want, I just think about, what do I need to do to make it happen? So, for example, and this is going to hopefully impact some of you guys here, because the biggest thing that you can do is not just learn how to wholesale a house. The biggest thing to do is to learn how to create money or create this freedom, right? Because we're doing this wholesaling thing because it's going to create income so it can create freedom. So there's a story, John Lennon. Everybody know who John Lennon is from the Beatles, right? Okay, so John Lennon was sitting there on his beautiful house, um, overlooking his grass in his backyard, right? And his wife really wanted a pool. Okay, she wanted this pool, and it wasn't. He's John Lennon, right? So it's not, you're not going to be talking about some above ground, pool that you get from Walmart, right? You're talking about a serious pool, a serious investment to make this monstrous pool with fountains and all this other crap they wanted, right? So she's like, well, man, how are we going to afford this pool? This is going to be a lot of money. This is going to be super, super expensive. And his response was so brilliant. The response to asking how are we going to get to this pool, he simply said, I'll just write us one. And I thought that was so brilliant. He's an artist. He's obviously he's a singer, but he wrote a lot of the songs. His response was, listen, you're seeing a problem of not having enough cash flow to provide for this. All I see is a solution, and I'm going to work within the constraints of what I have, right? He's a writer. He's a singer. He just said, simply, I'm going to write us one. So I had that same epiphany. I helped my mother out. I gave her some money for a new car. And we worked some things out, or she worked some things out where basically her car note is paid for the next year. And so after that year, she's like, well, I'm gonna have to make double payments to try to get this thing paid off. And I said, no, don't worry about that. I'm going to take care of the car note, right? Now I could pay the car note off now, but that's not the point. The point is to what? Have someone else pay the car note, right? The point is that John Lennon writes a beautiful song and people buy the CDs, or in that time, the records, or 8 tracks. I don't know, whatever it was in your era. Whatever they were consuming there, I think records, right? And those people who consume his product are paying for that pool. See, we have to change the way we think when we look at money. We have to change the way we think when we look at our freedom, our time freedom. If you want to take 2, 3, 4 weeks off, LPs, okay? If you want to take 2, 3 weeks off, but still get paid, well, let's just figure out, what are you good at? What are your hands in it? Where are you making money at now? And how can we use that? How can we maybe manipulate those tools so that you can get those 2, 3 paid vacation weeks off without really doing any extra work on your part? We're getting ready to go on a trip to Disney World. I shouldn't say that because Zion's upstairs, and if he hears that, man, he's going to be bugging me for the next 2 weeks. Yeah. So we're going to go to Disney World. I spelled that right?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's coming downstairs. He probably heard it already. Good Lord.
10 years.
I know them in 10 years, man. But, I still got bills coming in, right? Where I'm going to figure out a way to earn that money while I'm at Disney World. It's really that simple. It's a mindset shift. That's all it is. When you understand that if you put money into your business, if you put time in your business, you get the result on the back end. Once you fully commit to that and you completely understand that, things start to happen. Some people call it magic. Some people call it miracles. It's just a mindset shift. So we're going to talk to Sean about the mindset shift that kind of took place through his journey. And we have conversations now. He sounds a lot like me. It's crazy about some of the conversations that he now has with some of his subordinates in his job. I'm gonna kind of let him talk about, what he does. So, Sean, appreciate you being on.
What's going on, man?
Good, man. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and your background.
Plainfield, New Jersey. Grew up with this guy long time. I actually got 19 years and 7 months and 12 days in the United States Air Force.
You're counting down.
But who's counting, But I'm planning on, fully retiring, getting into this wholesale, like really, really big. I'm also a real estate agent as well.
Where you at?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Cool. So anybody in Charleston, South Carolina, I know a couple of y'all. Antoine down there.
That's my partner right there.
Yeah. Just in case they don't know where you're pointing at. Sure. I don't know if you.
All right.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out too. I was looking stupid for quite a few videos. So all right. So how long when did you get in the course? You got in the course pretty much in the beginning or right after We launched September 20th of 2018.
You actually sent to me September 18th and said, "Hey, can you?"
That's right.
He was like, "Can you
That's
review
right.
this to see if I made any mistakes?" And I heard fire engines in the background. Yeah.
A little fire engines. I think they're still in that video. Actually.
Oh, they are.
I think the fire engines still in the video. You guys, I think it's towards the end. There's some fire engines. Hey, it is what it is. So since then, you kind of started turning around, right? You didn't wholesale your first property. Tell us about the first deal that you did.
Man, the first deal I did was a doozy. Got a phone. Well, actually, it was just through a friend. You know, I went to We Live 18 and came back from We Live 18 and was like, "Yo, I am a wholesaler." You know, didn't know nothing about wholesaling at the time. Really, you know, went and got my first set of business cards and just started handing them out to one person. They said, "Hey, I know somebody that needs your help." I was like, "Oh, really?" Like, okay. Called the lady up. She was like, "Yeah, can you help me? I foreclosed on my house in 6 days." At this point, I'm like, there's no way in the world I can help this lady. Didn't have a big cash buyers list, but I went to my local RIA, had made up a little flyer and just started passing flyers out. And somebody jumped up and said, "Hey, I want this property." I was like, "Well, let's go look at it now because it now forecloses in 5 days."
Wow.
So we go look at the property. She owed, I think it was about, a total like $125 on the mortgage. Then she had a HELOC for $20,000. So we was $145 all in. Well, $145 and ARV in the area to about $210, and on top of that, it needed about $20,000 worth of work. So
first, I want you guys to kind of hear a couple of things. The first thing I noticed when he said this is that he took imperfect action, right? Like he still didn't even know what he was doing. He went to We Live 18 after I begged him to like, "Yo, come on, man, you gotta go, right?" So We Live 18 was in Charlotte in October.
This was in November.
And this happened in November. All this happened in November, right? But because some of you guys are saying, "Well, how do you get this? What lead source should I work with? Who should I, what list should I buy from List Source or Melissa Data or whatever," right? And it's like, it's not always about that. Sometimes it's just about just taking action, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you took action. And then you went to a RIA, like I talk about, go to a RIA, start like rubbing shoulders with people that are in the industry, and someone approached you and said, "Yeah, they wanted it."
Yep.
So kind of walk me through like how prepared or unprepared were you to speak with that person?
I was pretty prepared to talk to the seller just because it was a mutual friend who said, "Hey, she needs help," and you know, I'm a go-giver. I love helping people. And I was just absolutely. Like, "Hey, this is what it's all about too, helping people, you know. Not just about here making money," because I read something, even for real estate agents, wholesalers, they can tell when you sit down in front of them if you're after a paycheck or actually after helping them out.
Wow.
They can tell by your body. So I went in there and I'm just like, "Okay, lady, I got 5 days to make this work." Tommy always says, "Trust but always verify." Got a title search done. Lien came back from 1982.
1982. Wow.
1982, and we're sitting here like, "Yo, we don't even know who these people are." Find out the people dead. The banks that had the lien on it was closed. So we're just sitting here like, the guy was about to back out the deal because he was like, "I don't want to buy this house and then somebody come after me for this money."
So right now, he's at a point where he got some adversity there, right? Are we chopping up? Can you guys hear us? Are we good? Okay, all right. Sometimes people are frozen, so I can't tell if it's us. Y'all know how my internet be. Don't be making any jokes, okay? All right, cool. So he's at a point where, all right, I think I got something going here, even though it's short time. Someone reaches out, said they want it, but then you get this kind of like this roadblock. So there's a lien on the property, which means it's not now free and clear, right? There's something that's encumbering the transfer of title with this particular property, right? And this lien, this particular lien was something that was no longer there anymore, right? The people that owned it or had the lien we're dead, right? So that imposes a problem. So how did you guys fix that?
So, like I said, I had just finished real estate school in, I think it was August. And all of a sudden, I just thought about it. I was like, ooh, quit claim deed. Then I started thinking about all the different things that I've learned. And then I was like, hey, seller, did you purchase title insurance? She did. Title insurance pretty much protects you from any other liens that's been on that property. So then I came back with title insurance to my buyer. Was like, look, we got title insurance. We're good. Good. So they were like, okay, cool. Now we're going along with the deal. This is turning into a subject to. At the time, I had no idea what a subject to was because this is my first deal. I'm just saying, okay, let's just get it done. Yeah. But I'm going through this whole process. Don't even realize it's subject to is happening in front of my face.
Gotcha. And there we go.
Hey, go upstairs.
We got kids. I got kids.
So. My kid here too.
So it is what it is.
So we pretty much we get all that done, and we're about 4 hours from closing. The wire to stop the foreclosure because she was about $20,000 in debt from the foreclosure. Send them the $20,000. They called back and said that's not enough because I guess it stopped on the 6th. So they was like, you need to add another $2,000 into it. So
just so you guys know, because sometimes I know we get a lot of questions about buying and purchasing pre-foreclosures, right? So buying our pre-foreclosures, what's going to happen is that you're going to have a foreclosure date. Normally it's on like a Tuesday, okay? But typically the Friday before close of business, that thing needs to be handled. So even though the foreclosure date might be on Tuesday, most of the time you can't pay on Monday, okay? It's one of those things that normally, the Friday before, and yours was on Friday, right? It wasn't Friday.
No, it was Tuesday. We closed on Tuesday.
Oh, you closed it on Tuesday? Mm-hmm. Okay. So normally it's the Friday before you have to get all that stuff in because they have to make sure everything is ready to go for the auction, right? So this particular bank had they gave them a payoff, but it wasn't up to date, right? It was like a couple of weeks up.
No, it went up that Monday.
It went up, another mortgage payment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So yeah, make sure that you
and lawyer fee. So
make sure you guys in the subject to packet that we have in there. When you get that mortgage authorization, it's very important that you guys get all of the information that you need as far as when the mortgage payments are due, the interest rates, all those things. Because if you're factoring in for a certain amount of money, say $20,000 to get to the subject to, and it just clicks over to the next mortgage payment, well, guess what? Now you're due for that extra $1,200. In your particular case, it's almost $2,000, right? $2,000 because of lawyer fees. So we get to the point, 4 o'clock hits, send over the money. They say, now you need to send over more. What happens there? Listen to all these problems to get to this one deal.
So the buyer says, no deal. Like, I'm walking away from it. I mean, granted, I felt bad. We had this lady. She was so excited that we were stopping her foreclosure. She was worried about her credit. So I sat down with the buyer. I was like, hey, we need to come up with something. And the buyer pretty much was like, you know what? The only way, he's like, I'm about to come out of my pocket another $2,000. He was like, it's already a little cutting it close. He was like, the only way that I'm going to do this if I cut down on your, if we go half on cutting your assignment fee. And at the time, like I said, man, we do this for the people. And I'm sitting there looking at this lady's face because we're about to close. We're an hour away from closing. And I was just like, let's do it, you know. And he wound up not cutting my fee anyway. So that was pretty good. But, we had 5 o'clock to get this deal done. We sent the last check-in at 4:47. And the bank called and said that it's good. And we were so close to this. The next day, I went to the auction myself, and her property was on there with a scratched out with the pencil.
Wow. So literally came down to the wire. To the wire. Is that the reason? Yeah. To the fire or to the wire? Yeah.
Both Kanye and
just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. All right. So man, what I want you guys to see is just adversity after adversity after adversity after adversity. So many times I mean, from a short deadline to, you know, all the way to the very end where they had to come up with an extra $2,000. This is our business. This is what you're choosing to get into. You're getting into the problem-solving business. So if you run into a problem and the very first thing you decide to do is put your hands up and walk away, go find another business, because you are not going to be successful in wholesaling unless you change your mindset, because this is why we get paid. This is why you get those assignment fees, because you are here to solve problems. So so you got through that problem. That was your first deal, right? And that kind of like made you believe, you're like, okay, wow,
This really works.
this really works. I didn't spend any money,
Yeah.
and I got paid, right? And so from there, you had just passed the real estate school,
Mm-hmm.
and so I know you're a real estate agent in Charleston, South Carolina. So if you guys need to sell your homes, or you know somebody, right?
Got you.
And so how does that work? How are you doing with managing the real estate side and the wholesaling side?
So first thing, I look at all the different, Facebook groups and Instagram groups about wholesaling, asking, should I get a real estate license? Should I not get it? Does it help? Does it not? So it will help if you have a investor-friendly broker. And you be upfront with your broker and say, hey, I wholesale. Do you have a problem with this?
Yeah.
Then even there's a gray area, because I did that with my broker. And now, it's kind of back and forth. If he sees a property that I'm actually wholesaling, like I put it on Facebook Marketplace, I put it on all those platforms, he sees it and he's like, hey, why didn't you bring this to the company? I was like, because I'm going to make more money when I wholesale this property than my little 3%.
Yeah.
So, but I told him, I was like, hey, but all the little nice little houses with the white picket fences, I'll list them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you got to have that broker that really understands what's going on.
All right. So give me pros and cons. Give me the pros first for being a real estate agent, because we got some people here that are real estate agents. And man, I get that question so many times. Should I get my real estate license? You don't have to. So just let you know right now, you do not need to get your real estate license to be a wholesaler. But give me some of the pros of having your real estate license.
Some of the pros, of course, I mean, there's all different platforms out there, but just having access to straight MLS, I mean, that kind of helps out a little bit. You get people, you get people that call you and say, hey, I want to sell my house. And then you go over there and you look, and the house looks like it should be wholesaled. And that's when you you take the real estate hat off and say, hey, you're not going to get anything you're asking price. Like I could probably help you better on the wholesaling side with this property. Some of them listen, some of them, like the property I have listed right now the guy is like just kicking himself for not letting me wholesale it, because he wanted 135. The property definitely wasn't worth that. And so all right, so pros are, for that I'm hearing, is obviously access to the MLS. You don't have to ask anybody for to run your comps, right? You can do that yourself. And then also just being able to be the fluidity of it, being able to move within and out between the wholesaling and real estate. What's some cons? One more pro.
Okay, go ahead.
So another thing is, I work, no offense, ladies, but I work with a bunch of ladies, and half of them are definitely afraid of.
I thought this was going in a completely different direction.
Abandoned vacant properties. So whenever they get one of those, they come straight to me, because they know I do this on the side. So I mean, leads come in.
Yeah, but not some of these ladies. These ladies here.
Yeah. They get gritty and grimy.
Rolling up in the houses, kicking doors down. They don't care. All right, cool. All right, so what are some of the cons? Have you experienced any cons?
Yes, so I can tell you, my boy Antoine is on here. We rolled up on an appointment, and as soon as I said real estate agent, she turned her back and would not talk to me.
Wow.
A lot of you, they want to sell their house fast. I mean, realtors, they get bad vibes sometimes.
Well, we can go back and forth, because some people hear wholesaling. Yeah. Right? And then they just, no, I don't want to deal with wholesalers, right?
Shit, that's anybody too.
All right, so anything else?
Cons. You got to say that you're a real estate agent, and then say if you don't have a investor-friendly broker, that's going to create all types of
Okay.
issues and problems in it. But that's the only kind I really see.
All right, cool. So if with your experience here now from September till now, what's like, give somebody who's brand new, like give someone, like, what do you think is like the best thing for you that has helped you have the success that you've had?
First and foremost, and this is just not in wholesaling, this is in life, period, change your mindset. Start educating your brain with books, podcasts, whatever you do. That right there, the knowledge that you put in, it'll start coming out. You'll start working harder. Like now, I can't even sit down and watch TV. If I'm sitting down watching TV, I feel like I'm being unproductive.
Yeah.
Like there's so much in this real estate game that I don't know, that every time I listen to a podcast, listen to a book, read a financial book, I'm like, golly, because you know what? Who was taught any of this stuff in between 1st to 12th grade or college or?
Yeah, none of us. Well, at least not my school.
Exactly.
Yeah, they weren't coming to play to teach that. That's for sure. All right, cool, man. Well, I want to do this. I want to, first of all, thanks for telling your story. We're going to open these things up. We're going to ask for some Q&A. I know I want to talk to Logan and anyone else. If you guys remember about a week ago, I challenged y'all. I said 10 properties. Go find 10 properties per day, or a total of 50. I don't care how you did it. Total of 50 properties, but you needed to call a minimum of 10 per day, right? And out of those 10, you had to make contact with 3 good people, whether or not they cursed you out, right, and hung up on you, or whether or not you had a long conversation with them. But you needed to make a minimum of 3 good contacts, okay? And I know Logan, I think it was the first day he did that. He had a little jump off. Logan, if you can you tell us what happened with that? Let me take you off mute here. There you go. You're off mute now. Yeah.
Okay, so I had a dude, he just texted me back and was like, hey, I'm out of state right now. I'm tired of paying property taxes on this rent house, but it's ready to go. And because I was looking in like North Tulsa, which is like kind of the hood. So, but a lot of investors here like it because the return rate is really good. So
absolutely,
that's why I wrote down the address. But basically, I've got it he was like, I've got 24,000 into it. And so I ended up getting it under contract for 26. And I sold it for 30 in like a couple hours.
Wow. So hold up. Time out. Logan, hold on. You ain't tell me all this, fam. You keeping secrets over here.
No, I know. It like literally has just happened in the past couple of days. So.
But bro, we literally just had this conversation 7 days. This is Sunday. We had this conversation on Sunday.
Yeah.
So you already, hold up. You didn't just get an appointment. It's sold? Like you got a assignment contract?
Yeah, I got an assignment contract. I'm sending it into the title company tomorrow.
Logan, man, come on, bro.
My bad. I mean, you
like that a secret?
No, I knew I was gonna see you on the conference call.
Yo, that's dope. Everybody give him a round of applause. I know we got it on mute. I can't hear it, but he can imagine it. That is what's up, Logan. Yo,
appreciate it, man.
What up, man? Good Lord. I said I wasn't gonna cry. Man, that's what I'm talking about. So give me the numbers again, fam. So what did you make?
So I'll make $4,000 on it because he put 24 into it, and I ended up talking him into getting under contract for 26 because he was just like so fed up with it.
Nice, man.
So I mean, I had to give him a little bit of a spread.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Let me hold 1,000 or something real quick. That's what's up, Logan, man. I'm proud of you, brother. So think about that, man. Think about that. Like literally that came from, because I remember you put that, you were like one of the first people that said you got on an appointment. That was on Monday. You got that appointment.
Yeah.
So again, here's the thing. It's just imperfect action, right? Logan still doesn't know everything about wholesaling, right?
Definitely not, no.
You just know enough just to do something, right? Just get out there because you don't know, man. You just really don't know what's going to happen that next day, that next hour. It'd be that next postcard. Some people say, deal machine. Well, it's not a magic, piece of equipment, right? Just got to put them out there enough times. It's going to come back. We do RVMs all the time. Like we're going to do another batch of RVMs tomorrow. It's going to be 2,000 people. I might get nothing, right? I might get nothing, but I also might get 1 or 2 deals, right? But I know if I don't do something, if I know, Logan knows if he just stays in his room and does nothing, that's what his bank account going to look like. A whole lot of nothing, right?
Right.
So, man, Logan, I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of you.
Also, another house that I got under contract, I'm waiting on an offer right now from a buyer. We just met with the house on Saturday.
You owe me some money, Logan. You owe me some, you owe me something like a steak dinner. I can't eat steak.
Hey, yeah. I'll take you out to dinner. Oh, you're vegan, huh?
Yeah, I got to be like a, I don't know, something steak.
Plant.
Mushroom steak. It's just mushroom steak don't sound as good. Man. It's like, anyway. But man, I'm proud of you, man. So you got 2 contracts, 2 seller contracts, 1 assignment contract, and the other one you're waiting on a buyer. How are you finding your buyers?
I've been doing Facebook, Craigslist. I went to a real estate meeting. I met a bunch of people there, and just networking with other wholesalers in the area, stuff like that.
Good. That's what I'm talking about. Who else is doing it? Sharon, are you doing that? You out there? You going to meetings?
You know what? Oh wow, you just called me out, huh?
I'm just calling people out. You just happen to be the first person I just saw.
You know what? I've been doing this for quite some time. I've been in it and not in it, and in it and not in it. So I'm trying to get back in it, 100% focused on it. I'm a real estate agent as well, so I understand the pros and cons of being a real estate agent and trying to do wholesaling. So I'm taking my notes. But yeah, so I've driven for dollars. But you know what? One of the things that I did do was call foreclosure lists, like what he got involved in, your best friend got involved in, and got some deals, but was too scared to kind of wholesale it. So I listed it as a foreclosure listing. But if I had have wholesaled it, like one, I think I got maybe like a $2,500 commission, but for what I sold it for, I probably would have gotten $25,000 off the deal. Just knowing the difference between wholesaling something and actually listing. A crazy difference. I think you frozen, Tommy. Or either I'm frozen.
I can't tell. Is that me?
I think it was you.
No, I think it's me. Yeah,
okay.
I think it's me. I got that bootleg. I got Spectrum. I don't know why. I don't know what's up with.
But yeah, so I'm in Jersey. It's a very competitive market here in Jersey.
What part of Jersey?
East Orange, Newark area.
Okay.
Yo.
Hey, so we're both from Plainfield, so.
Oh, okay.
We might come out there and pull up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pull up.
Another thing too, I got signs done, right? Which took a little bit of wind out of my sail. Was in Irvington. They're cracking down in Irvington, New Jersey, for putting up bandit signs. I got these nice signs up, Miss Finney buys houses, and was getting called. But what they did was they set me up to make it think it was a deal. So they called me as if they were a buyer, had me come to a house, and then like police cars coming from every which way, and gave me a summons to go to court and said I owed $2,000. And so I had to go to court and get a court date, because they said, well, it's a serious offense, so we're going to have you pay $1,500. And I said, no, we're going to go to court. So I was able to weasel out of a little bit of it. So I ended up paying like $700, but still, that's $700 for putting up a bandit sign.
So this is good, because this, for you guys don't know now that I don't do bandit signs anymore, me personally, because I've reallocated that money to other marketing, Facebook marketing, to be one of them. Mm-hmm. But am I broken? Am I frozen? Are we good? You guys hear me?
You're good.
Okay, so but that was a real concern of mine. I had a police officer. He was nice enough to call me and kind of tell me that I needed to come get my signs. Or I forgot how much it was. It was like a $500 fine per sign or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had like 40 signs out there, right? So I obviously went and picked up those signs. But what I've learned how to do is to ask some important questions, right? So asking, I don't know what you asked or didn't ask, but you need to ask about the property. You need to try to get as much information about that property. Because now this is different, right, in the sense of you making a cold call, because they now have called you. So we know when we cold call, we do a lot of cold calling. Sometimes a lot of people are in a rush. We catch them at the wrong time, right? But when you cold call, when they call you, we have an inbound call. They typically will stay on the phone for longer. So a sign, if they want to hurry, they want to call you, hey, really get over here, and don't want to give you any information. Okay, that's number one. Number two, try to get as much information about them, get the name of the owner, how long they own the property, because all those
they had all of that. He had it down. He said, he called me. He said he was calling on behalf of such and such. I said, well, what's the property address? He said, such and such. I said, oh, okay. He said, it's owned by an older lady. And I said, okay. So I looked it up. Tax records, it was a woman's address. I looked at the property, but it was a nicer property. Like, it was nice. I said, well, why are they trying to wholesale this nice property? And I think that was a red flag in itself. But in any case, it has changed my marketing perspective. So I want to focus more on cold calling and Facebook ads, to where they come to me for Facebook ads. So it changed my whole marketing perspective.
Absolutely. But you're still doing it though, right?
Absolutely. I'm planning on going full force. Like now, and I think the thing too is, you may have talked about this, is to not spread yourself so thin. So you don't want to, do mailers and this and that. I think if you just focus and hone in on like one thing and really just really focus on that, I think you'll be very successful. Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Unless you just got money like that, because this stuff can get expensive.
Exactly. And I work an actual job, so it can get, I'm able to afford these things, but still it can get expensive if you're not getting a return on your dollar, for sure. Right. But thank you though.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I didn't mean to call you out like that, but I just call random people. That's just how I do it. I was the first person I see.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I'm gonna call on Eric because he texting somebody. That's a mean text too. When you text like that with one finger, that's that mean text, like all caps. What's going on, Eric? How you doing, man? Let me take you off mute. How you doing, sir? Oh, I can't hear you, Eric. There you go. Now I can kind of hear you.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man? What are you doing in your business? Where are you at? Where are you located at?
Right now I'm in Georgia. I'm in Conyers area.
And where?
Conyers.
Conyers. Oh, okay. Not far.
I just left Conyers.
That's what. So what are you doing in your business right now?
But right now, I'm sending out mail.
Sending out mailers?
Yeah. Sending out mailers. Doing deal
machine. Through deal machine, okay. How long have you done that, and how many mailers have you sent out?
Right now, I probably sent out maybe about 1,000 pieces.
About 1,000 mailers?
Yeah.
Are you getting any phone calls back?
No, negative.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it probably about 4 months now.
About 4 months of mail. So is it 1,000 total, or like over the last 4 months, or you're sending out 1,000 per week?
Yeah, probably about 4 months total. Because at first, I was kind of confused on what to do. I started doing the bandit side thing. Never got no calls. Now I'm starting doing these mailers.
So, are you skip tracing the same ones that you're mailing and calling them?
I'm skip tracing them, but I didn't have a good skip tracing service because they started getting expensive, like skip jeans. Kind of expensive, so I had to bag off that.
Okay, so I would highly suggest that you call all the ones that you're mailing. All right, call those. Like if you obviously found a property that looks somewhat good, right? Make sure that you're reaching out to them, because I ain't too far from you. I might pull up in Conyers, and I ain't wasting no time, right? So the time it takes for your mailer to get there, another wholesaler might swoop in and grab that deal, and then maybe that's why they're not calling you, right? Man, I was telling this to one of my. I was in Virginia for a one-on-one client on Friday, and I was telling one of the biggest things that I still have problems with, but I'm getting better at it, is understanding how important speed is. And some of you guys have been on here long enough, you understand. Money likes speed. Money, don't ever forget this, because this is especially in real estate. Money likes speed. Man, I've lost so many deals because, you know what? I'll get to it in 2-3 days, right? I had one of my duplexes in Macon. The tenants had moved out, and I should have been down there while they were moving out to go board that thing up. And I waited like less than a week. It was less than a week. By the time I got down there, they didn't ripped everything out and got in there and tore everything up, right? It was supposed to be like a quick little $4,000, boom, 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 turn it around, get it back on the market. And now it's a lot more than $4,000, just put it like that, right? So money likes speed, man. So make sure you get out there and just take that thing, okay?
Okay. All right.
Cool, cool. Let me go through the chat real quick. It is 7:52. Man, we got a lot of 50. We got a lot of chat here. Let me see. Let me see what you're talking about. Dex, I'm just now seeing this. What are you talking about? We're talking about birds and the bees, I think. Where we at? I'm trying to see if there's any questions in the chat. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Miss Anderson, so if you guys send me stuff privately, typically you gotta let me know. Sometimes I know sometimes it's a mistake, so I don't know if you want me to answer this in public because it says private. So it's private, so I won't. Let me see. Do not. Okay. All right. So. Okay, so I will reach out to you. I don't know if I still got you. If I don't, if you have my number, reach out to me. If you don't, then we'll go from there. We'll reach out to me on Instagram or figure out a way. Okay, congratulations. You got a lot of congratulations from Logan. Someone said, let me borrow some money. Any other questions? Oh, Al said, Al from Jersey too. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes. Elicia, go ahead.
CRN. Hey, Tommy.
Elicia always got questions. Well, she was like, I'm getting my money. Let me ask these questions, baby.
Sponge. CRM, I need some recommendations.
Okay.
Outside of your Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, you said CRM. So I was sitting there, I thought you said TRM. And I was sitting there thinking, like, what the heck is TRM? So I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. CRMs. Okay, cool. So, I mean, Podio works. I've seen it. And when I saw what I had to learn to have to do it, I didn't want to do it. But I might have to do it because I'm looking at buying or purchasing Lead Gen Pro, or not purchasing it, but subscribing to it and paying for people. If you guys don't know, Lead Gen Pro, I think if you go to theleadgenpro.com, it is basically it's cold callers, but experienced real estate cold callers.
You got that? You froze, Tommy. I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear him?
No, I think he left. He gonna come back.
Okay, thank you.
Just give him a second. He'll be right back.
Don't worry, yo.
It's coming. I think it's supposed to. It says it's connecting. Come on. Anyway, what was I saying? I
CRM.
forgot what I was saying. CRMs. So, and there we go. All right, we're back. That's kind of weird. All right. So,
Tommy, we can't hear you.
how about now?
You're good.
Okay. Thank you. With Lead Gen Pro, I guess so loud. With Lead Gen Pro, you have to use Podio, so I might be forced to use that, Jamicia, to get to your CRM question. If you are driving for dollars, if your main thing is driving for dollars, right? Within Deal Machine, there's a little hack that you can use to keep track of your leads. Do you guys know that? They have like a very basic CRM. If you're already paying for Deal Machine, you can keep track of your leads and download those as well. Are we good? Just I think some people are freezing. Okay. So honestly, I'm still old school. I still if I showed you how many spreadsheets I have, y'all be like, "What in the world? How are you keeping track of that crap?"
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like Podio, man. I just really don't like it. I'm like defiant when it comes to it. So that's what I'm working with right now.
I've heard a lot of the other investors like Brent and Adam on Bigger Pockets, their podcasts say that Podio is horrible. Right now I'm using REI Rail. I like it, but I don't like it. I like Vince and Justin and Max. It's fairly new, so they're working through all the tweaks.
Yeah.
They just got the virtual assistant, so I'm working on, trying to use the dial with Mojo. But I was hoping it was one that just had everything. Nope. But I'm just trying to get some other options, so I was just getting your opinion.
You should make one. You'd make a lot of money.
I'm gonna master this. I'm gonna master this wholesaling thing first.
The CRM thing is for the birds. Great. Now I have no other chats because once I logged off, all the chats were gone, so I can't tell if there's any other questions.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes.
I'm not sure how this thing works, man. This is my first time on here. How's everybody doing? But
good,
how many questions can I ask, man? Just one?
No, you don't get any actually. No, I'm just playing with you. No, you good, man. You good, man. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm just brand new to this wholesaling idea, really, man. I put some things in action, but I've got a full-time job. So top 3 things I should do to get started. Already what I'm doing, driving for dollars, got the Deal Machine, got the business cards, got a buyer's list. So I'm taking action, but what 3 things should I focus on with a limited amount of time working a full-time job?
Okay, so the first thing that I would ask you, I don't know if you want to talk about it freely here, but when people ever ask me that question, I need to know how much expendable income you have to put into your business and I always tell this because I focus on longevity, and I know when people first get into something, they're excited, but like, oh, I'm just going to spend my rent money. Like, no, like what can you put into your business realistically, no matter how big or how small, where it's not going to significantly affect your life and your lifestyle?
Let's say 500 to 1,000 a month.
Okay, so let's just go on the lower end of 500 a month. Okay. Or
if I wanted to get real with it, a couple of thousand to invest in my business. Okay.
So if we're looking at, so let me put it like this: would you be able to spend 1,000 up front to get a couple of things, and then maybe 500 every month?
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. So, I get
need to go now.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know why he had to let me know that. But I really believe in RVMs, ringless voicemails. But what I've learned through trial and error, and me and Max used to go back and forth. I'd be like, man, I'm doing it. It's not working. It's not working. He was like, yes, it does. It works. I built my whole business on RVMs. But here's the thing. Where are you at, Al?
I'm in Maryland, DMV,
Okay.
Laurel, Maryland.
Don't do RVMs in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Don't do RVMs in Los Angeles, New York,
Big
Atlanta.
cities, big
Big
markets.
cities. Don't do them in there. They don't work. I promise you,
Okay.
they don't work. I waste a lot of money trying to do RVMs. So I use Cold Calling Plus, but it's only because I've already invested too much money into it. If I had to do it all over again, and if REI Rail was around, then I would definitely use REI Rail. I'm not just saying that because Max is my boy. I'm saying it just because I know the struggle of doing a RVM, and some of you guys were on that call where when they call, all I get is just like a number on my phone. That's all I get. I don't know who's calling me, so I have to be behind my. You just gonna be all the way disrespectful with the.
I'm trying to turn off the seat, but it just won't turn
Yeah,
off.
well, Sean knew that. The kids, they don't care, man. You just don't care.
I got a 7-year-old. I know how it is.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just wanna but then they call police authorities. But so I would invest. I think it's $500 to get signed up with REI Rail, like its initial $500 or something like that. And then I think it's they have a basic plan for like 97, then it's 197 and 397. I would start off with the 97 so you can get your feet wet, get a couple deals, and then you could boost it up to a little bit more. Okay. So,
all right, so I'll have to look that up because I don't even know what REI Rail is. I know what Call Rail is if it's something like that, but I'll figure it out.
No, it does take the place of a Call Rail. So you won't like Call Rail. I think it's like $30 a month. You won't have to spend that $30. You can say you can allocate that money instead of spending $30 for Call Rail. You can get, I think with the basic plan, I think you get 3 numbers. I believe. So you get 3 numbers just like you would with REI Rail. It also is a lightweight, like Jamesia says, kind of like a lightweight CRM, okay? And so you can basically keep track of who you called and what the response was, right? Like if they were a favorable response and all those other things. But like I said, so let's get past that. So that you spent $500 to get that rolling. You got $500 left for your first month. I would definitely get Deal Machine and try to find 200 properties that very first month. Because once you find those 200 properties, abandoned properties, absentee owner properties, that's going to be $200 that are going to be reoccurring every single month. Okay. You got $50 for the software or using the app of Deal Machine. So now we're at $500 for REI Rail plus 50. So we're at $550 plus another $200. Plus 200 for the postcards if you can find that all in a month. And Sean wants to throw something in there.
And AJ, man, I tell you like this,
I think it's Al.
Al, yeah, Al.
Yeah, Al, yeah, AJ, that'll work.
I could say like working a full-time job, being in the United States Air Force, time is a value. So what I would do, when I first got Deal Machine, I get the address in the postcard, but I also have the skip tracing up right then and there. And as I'm sitting there, I'm typing in that number, and as I drive to the next house, I'm calling.
Absolutely.
Because I don't have it like I do it part time, so I don't have a lot of time. So you got to maximize that time.
Yep.
So my other question is, and I don't want to take everybody's time, is the enhanced search on the Deal Machine, is that the best skip trace?
No.
For money in that situation? Okay.
It's not the best skip tracing, but it works. There's no skip tracing that's 100% perfect. Okay. But you got to understand, you're sitting in front of a house. Like, just picture that you're sitting in front of a house that's abandoned. You just found. You're gonna send the postcard out anyway.
Yeah.
But you might get lucky and be able to do the enhanced one, and someone might pick up. Right.
Yep.
Like Logan, he just took action and he got a deal, right? You don't know. You just never.
Absolutely.
You do it enough, you will find a deal, right?
Exactly.
So that's how not to kind of get off topic, but that's a really important thing when we are marketing. So when I'm thinking Facebook marketing, right? Or I'm thinking bandit signs or whatever. Don't think, okay, I'm going to spend this for the month. Like that's the wrong mentality. If you go into it with that mentality and you don't get a deal, then you're going to be like, oh, it doesn't work. So you need to spend at least 6 months like in marketing. Like it just something about that time frame when things start to just magically happen, right? It's like when I tell you guys, man, don't come into this game and think that you're going to get paid in the first 30 days. It's nice. It's happened to quite a few people. But if you come into this game with that mindset and it doesn't happen, then you're like, oh, it doesn't work. I need to try to figure something else out. Maybe I'll go be a yoga instructor or something, right? Like you just come up with some weird things like, oh, this stuff just doesn't work, right? So whatever whatever route you go, I would just make sure that you're prepared to invest and look at it and say, okay, if I'm gonna spend $200 in recurring mail, I need to really that's not $200. I really need to wrap my brain around I'm spending $1,200 because if you can spend $1,200 and that one lead source gets you one deal that's worth $5,000, to me that's a good investment.
You're good,
right? So
yeah.
I spent $1,000, actually more than that, about $1,000 on a deal for that on Facebook ads, really, and I made $4,000. So a lot of people, it's not really like, oh wow, that's amazing. But to me, I'll spend $1,000 to make $4,000 like every day. How fast can I do that, right?
Absolutely.
It's not a $10, $20, $50,000 deal, but I still came out on top. All right, so did I answer your question? So I think we're at $750 for that first month. Okay, $750 for that first month. And you know what, man? Me and him were talking about this. This was going to be the topic. Maybe we'll do it another day. I would dibble and dabble, just a little something, a little sprinkle here on learning the Instagram, Facebook, mostly Instagram influencer. I don't know how big you are on Instagram, how many followers you have, but there's Instagram influencers. If you guys have done your homework and you've listened to Crush It, Gary Vee talks about Instagram influencers and ways to market yourself, right? Man, we're getting ready to put you guys. This is the first time I'm talking about this. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be talking about it. I'm getting ready to put on a nice little conference that's going to really mix social media and real estate, because I firmly believe if you don't get a handle, guys, pay attention to this. If you don't get a handle on social media, in 5 years, you're going to be out of business. Like you're not going to be able to wholesale because other people are going to be so heavy into the game. When I went to Max's place, he has a whole creative studio. You guys, that's where I was playing the VR game at. Some of you guys saw that, right? He has this whole creative studio, and I'm thinking I'm going in there. We're going to talk about real estate. I'm in there with nothing but creative guys. All they're doing is talking about content and getting that stuff out there because it gets its stuff out there and then it works. And it's called attraction marketing, right? He puts himself out there. He doesn't have to go look for deals. The deals come to him, and they're good deals. There's like deals that like they want to do, like genuinely want him to do the deal. Like I could come and probably give them more money, but they're like, no, I want to do a deal with Max, right? That's something I would spend some money on. I would figure that out. Like and that's a whole seminar on try to figure it out. But figure out who's in your market, or who maybe someone who's not directly like their whole thing is all marketing, but they are they have some they lean a little bit to real estate, right? Field. They have influence, definitely. They have to have influence, or there's no point in paying them, right? Because this is going to be paid marketing, right?
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's something I would definitely do. And then you have your reoccurring 500. You're going to be spending out 200 business cards. If you're going to do bandit signs, you can do that. But I would really try to spend that money on those Instagram influencers. The driving for dollars thing, don't ever stop that. That's some of your best leads are going to come from driving for dollars.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Let me see. All right, we're going to try to get through these questions as quickly as possible. What's you guys first? What was your guys' first experience like? Are you talking about this guy, Keith? I don't know. What was you guys' first experience like? I'm not really sure if you're talking about him specifically or not. Hey, Tommy, do you have in mind to teach about Facebook ads for motivated sellers? Daryl, hey, I did that one already. And like you guys already know, it's taken a lot. I'm downloading these videos onto an external hard drive, and I'm going to upload them to the course. So I won't have to worry about always going through Facebook. If you came in this month, you might be able to see what we talked about, 4 months ago. Okay. But like each one of these videos, it takes a ridiculous amount of time for it to download to my hard drive or my external hard drive. So just bear with me on it. What bulk texting app do you recommend? I have not used the one that I want to use yet. So all I can really vouch for is Easy Texting or Easy Text. But there's a company called Sherpa. I just got to do better with my time management. I was supposed to schedule a call with the guy so we can get him on here so he can talk about it. And he mentioned that he might be able to give us a discount for this group. So I need to get him on here. Sherpa is, it seems like it's better than Easy Texting, but I can't honestly say because I haven't used it yet. Someone told, what bulk texting? Oh, that's the one I just read. Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate this, bro. No problem, Keith. Forgot who asked about Podio, but this guy is the video, the beginner. Yep, there you go. I did an ad with influencer this week with David. Yep. There you go. She's taking action. Yep. Dave, believe it or not. Oh, let me tell this story. I don't think Dave is on here, so I'm gonna tell this story. I guess I'll have to tell him what I told. But me and Dave are like this. That's my boy, man. Like that's my boy. Like it's crazy how close we've grown. But it was a setup. I set Dave up? Like I set him up, right? And because of the setup, we're here now. So this is how you can use Instagram influencers, because this is living proof. Like I used Instagram influencer who happens to be Sleep is for Suckers. If you guys aren't following him, he's in the course, David Shands, right? So I saw David. Now David does like he's an influencer, right? He teaches people about business, like entrepreneurship. I saw months before I ever met him that he was interested in real estate, right? He's put out a post. It was a very simple post saying that if you know anybody who's looking to sell their home, to contact him, right? And so he did that. He actually got a deal over that. He made $10,000 off that post, okay? But I saw that. I was like, oh, the light bulb went off. I said, man, I just need to get myself in front of him because I know he gets crazy amount of DMs, and I could probably try to DM, but he's probably not going to be able to respond because he gets a lot of them, right? So what I did is he was having a social, this is before the big social proof conference. This was back in like September or October. He was having an event, a smaller event in Charlotte. And in my mind, I said, if he was selling these tickets for $200 or less, I was going to go, right? So turns out he was only selling the tickets for 20. So I was like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm definitely going, okay? So I went, and what we did is that I went and spoke with him, and hold on. Hold up. Yeah. So what happened is that I went and spoke with him, and I just, the best time to reach some of these people, right? The best time to reach to some of these people is at the booth where they are selling their products, right? Because I know if I bought a t-shirt from him, that would give me an opportunity to speak with him. So it's the same type of thing when you're doing the paid marketing or paid Instagram influencer, that you're going to be paying for their time. And so I happened to mention this real estate thing. The next day, I had a couple appointments set up, and he wanted to come on some of the appointments. And that's kind of how that relationship, that brotherhood now really has kind of started. So you don't know how that thing can change your life, right? Since then, he's put me in contact with so many different people. We got like I'm working with some people that are radio show hosts and just crazy amount of influence, right? You just don't know. It's just like that imperfect action. Go ahead and just do it and just see where it goes. Okay. What's the social media Bing come out? I'm in there ready for that. Oh yes, it's definitely, man. And we're gonna have some people in there that are really doing social media stuff. Not all of them are in real estate, but yeah, social media is so important. Do you still break your day tasks down in 6-hour intervals? You know what? I do on certain days. Now my days are kind of, I did that as kind of like an experiment, and man, I definitely got so much accomplished, so much more accomplished. So if you guys don't know, there's a guy named Ed Milet. Ed Milet is fantastic. You should follow him on YouTube. Start your day off right, okay? Big cocky dude, make a whole bunch of money, right? And but Ed Milet said to break your days into these 6-hour mini days. So from like 6 a.m. to 12, have 3 to 5 goals that you want to accomplish between that time frame, 6 to 12. And then from 12 to 6 p.m., have another 3 to 5 goals to accomplish. And then from 6 p.m. to midnight, have another 3 to 5. Now, some of those goals should involve, family time and those type of things, taking care of yourself, right? Those type of things. But you'll look back at your day and realize really quick, like, man, oh my goodness, I accomplished a lot, right? And I really got a lot of stuff done with that. Ed Milet, yeah, thank you, Nikia. Is it a good idea to wholesale in high-end areas? So Trey, is it a good idea to wholesale in high-end areas? If you can weather the storm of not having a lot of deals. So everybody, like as a real estate agent, right? We get, typically, it's not always, if you guys don't know this, there's no set commission rate, okay? Matter of fact, it's kind of a way that you can get around some things and make wholesaling money. So for all my real estate agents out there, if you want to make wholesaling money, like you were talking about, Sharon, how you made $2,500 out of that deal, but you probably could have made $25,000. In Georgia, we can't do something called a net listing. A net listing is where the buyer says, Tommy, man, I just want, if you can get me $80,000 for this house, I don't care what you make. I just need my $80,000. A net listing says, I say that I write that guy up and we do a listing agreement, and I find someone who basically, it's almost like wholesaling. I find someone who's willing to pay me 100, right? And I give him 80. Well, in Georgia, that's illegal. It's called a net listing.
South Carolina too.
South Carolina, apparently it's illegal as well. I don't know about in Jersey, but in Georgia, it's illegal. But there's a loophole around it, right? So all I have to do is figure out, if I know I have a buyer that's paying 100, all I have to do is figure out the commission percentage that would yield my seller 80,000, because that's what my seller said he wants. So a lot of people think we throw around the commission rate of 6% because that's pretty customary, but I can charge 28% if I wanted to. There's no law saying that I don't have, that I can't do that, okay? If my seller who owns the property signs that listing agreement saying that he's willing to pay me 28% commission, I can do it, okay? I have no idea where I was going. What was I talking about before then? Someone asked me a question. High-end area. So when you are a real estate agent, we know that if we're in $1 million area, we understand that property is probably going to sit on the market for a little bit, right? If I'm in a first-time home buyer, that thing might only last, first-time home buyer price point, $150,000, $200,000. That thing might only last on the market for a day or two. So just understand that if you're going to the higher end, that you could get lucky, right? You could get lucky, but especially I kind of tell new wholesalers to stay away from those. Not because I don't want you to do it, it's just because it's so easy for you to get discouraged. It's hard to sell it on the MLS at a fast pace. And especially if you're already like employee mindset, like you already have that, you still have that employee mindset. You haven't like rewired your brain to not worry about getting paid. Like you want to get paid, but not really put all your effort in like, oh, how to get paid. Because as an entrepreneur, you don't put all your effort into how to get paid. You put all your effort in how to fix problems. And you just understand that eventually the paycheck comes. But it takes a while to get that mindset, like, and actually really have it. So if you're going to do it in a high-end area neighborhood, just know that the deals are few and far between. I went to a mastermind, and there was a guy that all he does is like those high, like he doesn't make anything less than like $40,000-$50,000 on his wholesale deals. But he doesn't do so many deals. He's like, man, I might only do like 20 deals a year. Max does 12, 14, 15 deals a month, right? So you can see the difference there. But you just got to have that mindset that you're willing to do that, okay? So they work, but they're few and far between. One last question. People who have a lot of questions always say that one last question, and they have 5 more questions. Oh, I got you too, Warren. I see you, man. I'm just trying to go through the chat here. Does the standard MAO max allowable offer calculation stand in every market? 350 minus 30%? No, it doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. You're in the DMV, Al. You're probably, what'd you say?
I said, yeah, DMV, higher prices.
Yeah, so you're probably closer to like a 25, maybe even a 28, tops like 28%, but you're probably closer towards that 25%, right? Okay. I know like in South Florida, it's like 25, some places even like 22, right? You know, those neighborhoods typically are a little bit harder to get deals, but the price point's higher. So the amount of money that's actually hitting that account is also higher. So they're willing to take a smaller percentage wise, but it's still a lot of cash. Cool. I need direction as far as wholesaling properties on the MLS. I have a realtor that send me properties. I found one that I was going to wholesale, but as I read over the real estate, the REIN contract, I guess that's your state, I could not assign the contract, so I had to take a pause on the property. Any advice? Yeah, so that's one of the things with the we're dealing with realtors. A lot of times in those contracts, they are unassignable. They're unassignable. And if it's unassignable, there ain't much you can do it besides buy it yourself and then do a double closing and try to, you know, you have to actually have the money to close on that property or use transactional funding to close on that property, right? Which is expensive money to hold for literally, normally it's less than a day. So that's the only way that you can do that is have transactional funds or actually close on the property. But I wouldn't even think about doing it unless it's a property that you really want to own, that you're willing to hold on to, or you already have a buyer lined up, ready to go. But you have to, it's one of those things that you kind of have to be slick with it because you haven't bought it yet, right? So you have to think about it like this. You're going to actually have to put in a contract and be able to close on that property with the hopes that a buyer still wants to buy it after, because they're going to look to see, okay, well, how much did you buy this property for? Because it's going to be out there in the open. They're going to see it on the market, right? So you just kind of have to. It's one that's, you know, a little risky. Okay. Flippable LLC, sell the LLC instead of signing the contract. Yes, you can do flippable LLCs and sell the LLC instead of assigning the contract. Yep. Okay, Warren, let me close this real quick. Nothing to chat. Lower hand and unmute. Oh, go ahead, Warren.
Well, kind of answer my question. It was about the MLS and how did you go about selling it? And what I had came up with was the back-to-back close and transitional funding to get around that part. Because I don't know any cash buyers. I know cash buyers, but I haven't done deals with them, so I don't know if I can trust them on doing the amended. Did you say put an amendment on the contract, or did the cash buyer would agree for your assignment fee if you went to the MLS?
Yeah. So I found that out through. Actually, it was a house that in Macon that I was wholesaling. I got this house under contract for $1,200, right? And I sold it to who I thought was my end buyer. I sold it to them for, I think it was somewhere around 10, something like that. Okay, so they got the house for like $10,000. No, I sold it to them for $9,000. They got the house for $9,000, right? But it was a real estate agent who wrote the contract up for her buyer, and her buyer, who I thought was the end buyer, was assigned her or gave her a in the amendment, they gave her, I think, $2,500 fee. So it was just, he was going to spend his $9,000, but he was also going to bring an extra $2,500 and give that, and that was given to her, and that was coming out of his pocket. What I found out that they did is they literally went ahead and wholesaled that property. They closed on that property, and they had another person who bought it from them for $19,000. So they actually made more money than I did, right? He bought it for me from $9,000 and then sold it to them for $19,000. So that's kind of how I found out about that, how you could put that amendment in there and pay a real estate agent.
So what about the idea of doing the transitional funding? You yeah, nay on that? I know you're gonna spend there's about 1.6% on that money for that short amount of time, or 1.7.
It's based off points, and it's based off of the transactional, the agreement that you have with the person who's funding it. But yeah, it's typically over 1.5 points on the money. So if you guys don't know, the points are a percentage of what you're borrowing, right? And you're literally transactional funding. You're literally borrowing that money for like no more than normally a day, right? Because it's like a daily type of a thing. It's very expensive money. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to talk. All right. Any what else you got for me, Warren?
That's pretty much it. Far as I know right now, it was some more things, but I forgot.
Okay. You gotta get that ginkgo biloba in your life, man. See?
Never mind. No, this was about foreclosures and working those. I get a listing for foreclosures, but it's on the MLS also. So that's kind of like I need to put all that crap on the back burner.
Just have a standardized way that, like, if you're gonna make offers on the MLS, like, you know, a lot of people are looking at those same offers. So just make sure that's very standard so it doesn't take up a whole bunch of your time. So just say, hey, you know, if you're gonna, like we were talking about before, you're gonna break your days up into 6-hour increments. Just say, hey, every Monday at, you know, first thing I'm doing when I wake up, or my first couple of things, the first business thing that I'm doing when I for that day is every Monday I'm gonna send out these offer letters to, you know, MLS listings or expired listings.
Yeah, I'm not spending a lot of time on them, but I'm like, is it worth me trying to do a deal on them if it's going to be a hassle to try to get paid on them?
Well, that's something that you're going to have to decide. It would depend upon the deal, right? Because I think you'd be willing to go through a little bit of hassle if you were going to get like a $20,000 assignment fee.
Oh, of course.
Maybe not so much for $1,000 one. I don't know, right? So it's just really something that's more of a personal decision on what you're willing and not willing to do, you know?
So I'm getting some postcards back from Return to Sender off my deal machine. Maybe I should talk to them about that.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, that's a great sign because most wholesalers are lazy. Not you guys. You guys are special. But most wholesalers are lazy. And so when they see when their postcards come back and they're not received, they return to sender, they typically kind of give up on those. And so
call them.
Yeah, no, you need to call them. You need to call them. You need to skip trace them. You need to do deep skip trace. You need to figure out. Normally what's going to happen is that those type of people, when you try to call them, it's not going to be the right number anyway. So you're going to have to do a better skip trace. You might have to go knock on some doors, the neighbors, people across the street. You have to do some real like detective work, but those are going to be your best deals. It's going to be the most profitable deals, the ones that are hardest to find. So yeah. Cool. Anything else? Any other questions?
Hey, Tommy, I had a question for you.
All right, what's that?
With the social media influencers, like I was kind of confused on what kind of ad you would be paying them for. Like, is it literally like a house that you have under contract, or is it like them representing you as a person who sells houses quickly?
It is going to like depend on what you're looking to do, right? So I think, well, yeah, I did. I put it into the course, right? The ad that I run in Augusta. Did you guys saw that the little commercial? Am I frozen?
No.
Logan, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. Yeah.
Did you see that commercial? That little 1 minute little thing I had in the court in the Facebook group?
I don't think so.
Okay, so go back and check that out.
Okay.
So it's basically me standing background as an abandoned house that looks really ugly, and it's basically me standing there with my literally my cell phone, nothing fancy. It's my cell phone here, turned in landscape mode, right? So you can see more of the house behind me, and say, hey, you know, in that particular case, I called out Augusta because we need them to stop, right? Everybody's doing this. Everybody's scrolling. I need someone to stop and listen to my message. And if you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all of a sudden you hear someone say, hey, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm like, what? Hold up. I need to listen to that, okay? So I literally saying, hey, my name is Tommy. I'm out here in Augusta, Georgia, and this property right behind me, we got this property under contract, was able to help this homeowner out. This is a property, obviously, it's not the best looking property, but the homeowner had issues. They had problems. They were behind on their taxes. Maybe you know someone who's behind on their taxes, or they're getting ready to go to foreclosure, or maybe they're going through a divorce, or maybe someone passed away and left them a home and they don't know what to do with it. If that's the issue, if you know anybody like that, or maybe that's you, go ahead and put your information below. Contact me. We'd love to give you a free cash offer. There's no pressure here. We just want to be able to see if we can help you, if it's the right fit for us and the right fit for you. Once again, go ahead and put your information below, and I'll talk to you soon. Really something that I just made that up off the top of my head, right? Something very short, sweet, like a minute long. Maybe that's what you want them to push out, because you know they you know, you go on Instagram, if you guys do what I told you to, make sure you get that business profile so you can see where your followers are at, right? And you can see, like for me, I know most of my followers are here in Atlanta, right? The second area is up there in is New York, okay? So if I want to wholesale in those areas, or if I want an Instagram influencer, I want someone who has some reach in those areas, right? Because I know a lot of their followers are going to be from those particular neighborhoods. So they'll be able to post something like that. Maybe you just want to get brand awareness, right? Maybe you just go in there and do a live with them, and people get to know who you are, and by default, that's going to boost up your followers. So then now, eventually, you keep doing that, and you become the influencer. And so now you can put your own post out there. So it really just depends on what your strategy is. Maybe you're looking for buyers. Maybe you got a house that you're walking through and you're showing them what you did with it, and you want, you know, buyers, right? That's something that is hard to say, give you a concrete answer on immediately, because it depends on what you're currently trying to do, who the influencer is, where they're located at. It's like a whole bunch of other factors that's involved with that.
I got you. Okay.
No, that's this. And let me see here. Oh, I got you, Al. No problem. I actually got a Ayana. I can't never say it. Ayana Anderson, Miss Anderson. She I gotta give her a phone call first, and then I got you. Let me see. You saw the promo. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, you can do that with a random property. You can do it with a property under contract. All that stuff works. Okay. Let me take a picture of this so I don't lose your phone number. And all right, I think I'm done. Sharon over there eating got me hungry, and kids hungry. Zion getting on my. I love them. And we're about to be out. If you guys don't know, drinks are on Logan. and he volunteered to pay for everybody. So appreciate you guys. As always, man, thank you so much. Like I said at the beginning, see who you spend your time with. Who you spend your time with, and what you spend your time on is what you love, and what you love is what you spend your time with. So I appreciate you spending your time with me. I love you guys for it, and let's make some money. All right, peace. Stop the recording. Appreciate you, Daphne.